really had this problem. People were
I
able to
really
get
want.
on
Yeah.
and without an issue, and it's like now, it's I don't know. Maybe because I don't have a badge, I don't know. Maybe the people that have badges have better connections than the ones that don't. E, do you have any issues with E, you have problems with yours because yours be dropping in and out sometimes. So, are you too good for the middleman or woman, right? A lot of times we find that people that are, it's not just growing businesses, but sometimes when people get to a certain level, they tend to say, I can't fool with this person no more because they not making the money that I'm making. But the person still might be a great person to be with, but they'll turn their back on you because they feel like you're not, you're not at the status that they are. So have you guys found that any people that you have been around have either, dropped you because, they got high and mighty, or, they started a business or what have you, or maybe even they married somebody and they just couldn't be around you no more. So it's a lot of levels to this, right? It's not just about business. It's not just about material things, but it's about people that drop you, just because they feel like you're not at their status. So have you found that any people in your life or friends or family or things like that have dropped you because they felt as though that you weren't at their status? Hey, Kenny, how are you? Kenny, is it a great connection for you? I'm sorry to keep asking this, and this is like, it hurts the show that I have to keep asking. Is it a good connection?
Yeah.
Is it a good connection? Is it a good connection?
Keita, I'm gonna have to go. I tried to get in. It's not letting me.
Go ahead. Well, I thank you for being the announcer. And
well, you called me. I told you it's permanent, so I'm a permanent announcer for you. So
okay, all right, okay. So we're gonna get more into the topic eventually. Okay, all right. So it's good. Okay, gotcha.
I'll listen to the replay.
Okay. It's gonna get better. Talk to you later.
All right. Take care.
All right. So that is the announcer, you guys. You have people that want to do great things for you and you don't even ask. That's the thing. People ask you, hey, can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? I feel like you said, what's the question? What do you mean? I just told you, are you too good for the little man or woman? Are you too good? Have you grown to a point where you have gotten too good for somebody? Or has somebody gotten too good for you? You understand what I'm saying, Kenny? We have people in our lives sometimes. So you have never grown away from somebody to the point where you felt like you was on top of the world, or you have reached a certain status. The only time I would treat somebody like that is mentally I felt like they were draining. And I felt like it was no longer a friendship. We can no longer build anything together. That's the only way I would do that. The only way I would separate myself from anybody, a friendship, a family member, a business partner, somebody that I thought was, a close friend to me. The only time I would do that is if I felt like the person was no longer, mentally, we couldn't, we couldn't communicate, or I went my separate way because things were happening for me and they weren't in my corner. So that's the only time that I would separate myself from that. But here it is. Okay, so why is this a topic today? This is the topic today because I reached out to somebody, okay? I reached out to somebody. And the person doesn't really they have somewhat of following, but they don't have a following and it's not about the following, because we talked about that on Thursday, right? About followers and things. it's not about the following, but sometimes, and I didn't know this person, but honestly, I feel like a lot of people get big heads, you know, once they start to tap into certain things in their life. You know, you start to separate yourself from people that may matter to you, that may matter, that may be able to help. You may be able to help each other, right? So sometimes you have these people that will separate themselves from you only because they feel like they have reached a higher plateau. Some people will come and look at what you're doing, period, point blank, in your business, trying to figure out what it is, you know, how is it that either they can sit from afar and learn from you, or they're trying to figure out how they can dig into what it is that, you know, you're doing. Like I was talking about earlier, when we were talking about the Kendrick Lamar situation, you have people from afar. You have people that have actually threw people under the bus because they felt like they had something more than someone else. Point blank, I'm going to give you an example. Monique's situation, right? I'm sorry, I got to talk about this. Monique's situation. Monique, the comedian, just had a situation, if you guys don't know, where she was, you know, talking about that she did the comedy on stage, and she said, you know, somebody can suck her, whatever, if she had one, right? Her genitals. Now, she has one person, which is Cheryl Underwood, and I spoke about Cheryl already. Hey, Adrian, I spoke about Cheryl Underwood already, and Cheryl had, you know, Cheryl was like, hey, that's my girl, but I feel like something is going on with her. And instead of her talking to her, she actually went on live TV and said what she had to say about her. And I thought that was reckless for her. I mean, that right there should have never happened. You know, then you have, what's her name? What's the other one's name? Is it Kim Whitfield? Kim, the other comedian, Kim something. Y'all know who I'm talking about. So she went on, from my understanding, I didn't see it, but I did look her, Kim Whitley, thank you. Kim Whitley. Hey Trey, how are you? Thanks for joining. So Kim Whitley had her say about Monique. Now, from what I saw, I thought it was very, very childish for any of them to be online talking about each other, right? And I think Monique took the high road. I must say Monique took the high road. Monique said, you know, even though Kim Whitley said something about me, we used to be close friends, right? We used to be really close. And for her to go on national television and to talk about me the way she did, and, you know, I guess she said we shared some things together, you know, when we were friends. But unfortunately, I wouldn't have expected her to go on TV to talk about me. Now, Monique took the high road and said, you know, I don't have nothing to say about her. I'm not going to say anything bad about her. I'm going to let her deal with her situation. Well, here's the thing. Kim Whitley came back and did a Facebook Live based on what y'all think I should do. Y'all think I should do this. I should say so. Well, if you feel in your heart that you shouldn't do something like that, why would you even get on Facebook Live and try to stir it up? You trying to stir up the pot. You stirring up the pot even more. The pot gets thicker, okay? The pot gets thicker. You just stirring and stirring and stirring, right? So she's asking exactly. Wait a minute. How old is Kim? 50-something. That's why I say age. Age does not mean that a person is mature. And when you say that a person is mature, we need to look up the dictionary. Look it up in the dictionary, because I'm going to tell you, it has nothing to do with your age. It has everything to do with your nature. Why publicly asking? Oh, thank you. It has nothing to do with your age. I'm quite sure we look up immature, it's not going to say someone in their teens or 20s or 30s. It's not going to say that, because immaturity comes with is a behavior, you know, from a person. We're not talking about people that have childlike spirits. We're talking about somebody that has the behavior of someone that's immature. They'll ever ask Kim for womanly advice. But listen, I couldn't believe that she actually went on Facebook Live. And somebody, you know, everybody records everything, right? So somebody recorded it and put it on their YouTube page. Just know, I could be doing, look, let me tell y'all something. For some of y'all that's new on here, I can tell you guys right now, if you look up Existing Nature, right? You might see some videos of me on YouTube. Somebody took my videos of me like this, doing scopes, and put it on under their own name. Okay? Put it under their own name so they could get views from that. And somebody on Periscope, on that was looking at me on Periscope, they wanted to go subscribe to my YouTube page, and they ended up emailing me saying, wow, Keita, somebody got videos of you on YouTube, and that's not under your name. So I had to literally go on YouTube and sorority sister. She your sorority sister? Huh? Okay, I get it. She your, but listen, even sororities don't, you know, don't rock and roll like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying it has nothing to do with your sorority. It has everything to do with your behavior, you know, and she's immature with her behavior. I'm so glad that I was able to hear Monique say, I'm not going to get in the middle of what she has to say about me, because we've shared information together. And she told me one day, this is what Monique said, she told me one day, you have everything. You have everything. So be careful. You know what I'm saying? We have to be careful who we still have in our life. But then we about to get back to, are you too good? You know, are you too good? Yes, are you too good for somebody? I feel like sometimes you are too good but for the little man, and this is where I think Kim Whitley was putting herself in the little man place, right? The little man place. Sometimes you can be too good for the little man. Sometimes you don't need to be too good for the little man. Sometimes we need to sit back and try to think, and people would say plan, but I'm not going to use the word plan because I really don't like the word plan. You know, sometimes we need to sit back and think about, what do people mean to us? Do we truly have relationships or trying to build relationships with people based on money? The way it sounds is like you have too much pride. That I have too much pride? You said that I have too much pride? As far as what, Kenny? But you said no. Who? That Monique has pride? You're saying Monique? When we think about relationships that we're building with people, right? Or that we want to build with people, being too good for someone generally. Oh, no, you know what? I don't want to be too good for people, but I do feel like that if you feel like you progressed in your life and you're trying, oh, thank you, E. If you trying to get to a certain, hold on if you trying to get to a certain level, right? You trying to get to a certain level in your career, in your life, or what have you. If you trying to get to a certain level, you definitely have to get rid of the little man. You got to get rid of people that don't bring anything healthy to the relationship. Don't bring anything healthy to what it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to build something, you can't have the little man in that situation with you. It's like this, okay? You in the box. You trying to come out the box. The little man is still probably in the box, not even thinking about climbing out of it, okay? So sometimes we have to get rid of the little man. But then there is a thing, don't think it's pride. It's understanding who you are and that everyone can't come. Exactly. Everyone can't come with you. You know, and I had to give that example because sometimes we put so much energy into people thinking that they're our friend, not really thinking they're envious of us. They're envious. Now, here's another little man situation, right? I'm going to take this over here, though. This little man is, sometimes people think they too good, that if a person is down here and you kind of climbing up and they trying to reach up, this is a healthy situation where you can probably tap into what they have and they tap into what you have. It goes both ways. We'll meet each other and help each other out. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to think with that little man, the person that's trying to grow, and we need to teach them how to well, not even teach them, but help each other. Because trust and believe, if anybody comes on my scope, I'm not even worried about how many followers you have. I'm not worried about none of that stuff because followers are far few in between. People are not always dedicated to you 100%. So like I said, they move around all the time. But you have people that are so into the numbers game, they so into it that you're not trying to grow anywhere else. You can be growing here, there, everywhere. You can tap into everybody's market regardless of what they have. And some of us don't realize that we can tap into so much without us just trying to belittle somebody because they don't have what we think we have, because that thing that we think we have can be gone at any time. I just listened to a guy today. He was talking about how he built his business and, in sales and everything. And he was like, his business was booming. Young guy. He said his business was booming. He had a Bentley and everything. He said next thing you know, in 2008 when the market crashed, he lost everything. You understand me? He lost everything. Every single thing he had, he lost. And because a lot of businesses were hurting at that time, guess who you might have to look back to? You never know. You might have to go look back to somebody that was you thought was a little peon, but they were successful in their growth. And now, exactly, you might have to go back and look at that person. Now here it is, you're looking for somebody for handouts. You trying to tap in their market at the wrong time. You trying to tap into somebody's stuff at the wrong time. You should have been trying to tap into that in the beginning. And see, don't wait until the last minute. Each one reach one. We got to learn how to take care of each other. We got to learn that it's not just about you. It's not just about me. But where you get wealth from is within yourself. What's around you and helping other people, your community. Wealth is about growth. Wealth is not about money. It's about growth. So when we get to a point where we feel like there's growth, we should always be willing to turn back around, even when we haven't gotten to where we want. Because people are always trying to excel. There's many levels. You might have $1 million in the bank, but guess what? That $1 million may not last that long, especially if you ain't trying to make $2 million. That's why you part ways with little man in a positive way. Never burn bridges, because you never know. Exactly, Kenny, you never know. You never know when you may have to call on it. It's been plenty people in situations like that. Plenty people. But we don't look at it. A lot of us don't look at look at things that way. You know, you can have that little man that you can't bring with you. But then you also can have the little man where you can bring with you. You know, and you know that this person is working on something and they're trying to succeed and they're trying to get to the next level. But it's very hard for them to get to where they want to get because people are getting smarter. Okay? People are getting, and I said this earlier, people are getting smarter. When it comes to marketing, it's not just about posting something. People don't even want to see ads no more. They don't want to see ads. They don't want to see ads across the screen. They don't want to see a commercial, you know. So you got to figure out how now I can do it and make it make sense, you know, to me and other people. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sell your product. That's why now you have a lot of companies that are trying to figure things out. I just rode down the street the other day, not down the street, but some miles away from my house, and I was looking at Kodak. Do y'all remember Kodak? You guys remember Kodak camera? Kodak camera? Kenny, you might be too young for Kodak camera. But Kodak camera, they had the instant flashes. They had where you would take your videos, your pictures to CVS, you know, and drop them off, and you would get your you would have to wait a couple days to get your stuff back. We're no longer in that age. We're in another age now where you could just go and take your SIM card or whichever one it is, the picture card, and you can take that and go to the CVS and stick it in the thing and just print out your pictures just like that. Instant pictures. So you don't have to go to CVS now and hand them, you know, sign the little thing to flip over and give it to them, and then a couple of days you come back and pick it up. We don't have to do that no more. Everything is changing. So just to think, Kodak had a huge building where they had cameras and, you know, all types of closed. Okay. Now I'm quite sure the owner, the CEO, made plenty money off of that. I'm quite sure they did. But guess what? You work for them now, you got to find another job. That goes for anything. Everything in life now is changing so much. All these jobs, you might have to depend on somebody else. Because the money isn't coming in like it used to. And just to think, homeboy somebody needed a job. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you know needed a job at that time. And you was just like, nah, man, I ain't, you know, get a job. Well, guess what? You done lost your job. Now you looking for somebody to help you out. And you go to homeboy or homegirl and say, man, I need to find something. And guess what? Little man is either willing to help you or gonna look at your situation like, you ain't helped me out. When, you know, when I was down and out, you wasn't trying to help me out. You was freaking, your nose was up in the air. Your nose was up there. So we got to be careful how we treating people. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't know them, you got to be careful how you treating people, how we viewing that little man. Because sometimes you act like you too good to help somebody out. And you never ever know when you may need it to come back. You needed to be cyclical for it to come back and help you. And the universe is not always going to be there, you know, especially when we haven't done things that are going to empower others. The universe is not going to be there. It's not going to be in our favor, you know, so we have to be real careful about the decisions and how we treating people and disrespecting folks, you know, and all kinds of stuff. It's ridiculous how, you know, I see people treat other people, or I hear people talking about somebody because they feel like they have it better than them. You know, you might have it better now, but it doesn't mean that you're going to always have it better. You know, because I can slide through the cracks. I can get through the cracks if I need to eventually, because my life is already probably destined for me to survive. I might have failures right now, but my life it's going to be open for me eventually. You know what I'm saying? I'm always willing to help people out, because I say, and they got to be willing to help themselves too. They got to be willing to help themselves. I can't just be the one that's doing all the work. You got to be willing to do it yourself, because if you're not, guess what? You ain't helping me or you. You putting us both in a situation. Can you putting yourself in a situation. And when you have kids to take care of and all that kind of stuff, you know, that can run mentally on you. So you're going to always have to do something in order to keep that money flowing. And it's not just about money. It's about relationships. It's about partnerships. You know, let's think about it. How are we treating people? Are we treating people like you're nothing? You know, have you ever seen people at restaurants? You know what I'm saying? And these people don't even have to have money. But have you ever seen somebody at a restaurant mistreat a wait staff? I can't stand that. Especially if they don't speak the same language as you. I've seen people mistreat folk at restaurants because they're wait staff. I can tell you right now, I drive with Lyft. I can tell you some of the people got their nose so high up in the air, it's ridiculous, that I have lifted around. They have their nose so up in the air, they smelling a cloud. And you never ever know what people are doing. Just because somebody's taking a route to drive or be in a waitress or waiter or bartender, you don't know what their accomplishments are. Some people take those routes because they feel right now, you know, I don't want to be at a 9 to 5. People that work at a 9 to 5 sometimes that make certain money, they always some of them look down to other people because they work on a 9 to 5. A 9 to 5, your ass can be let go at any damn time, okay? Just know that. You could be let go at any time. It's not destined that you're going to be there forever. It just does not mean that. But some of us sit there and we act like, you know, we smell ourselves. Because, I've been working here for 20 years. So what? So the hell, you act like somebody can't work somewhere for 20 years. So what? And what else? What you get out of that? Because you can retire just like somebody else. And for the summer, I'm working at Circle K. What's Circle K? What's Circle K? And like I said, sometimes we put people down for their passion or, you know, what their occupation is. Oh, it's a gas station. Okay. But and here's the thing. I can guarantee you, like, some people be like, he work at McDonald's. You know, that's the uppity in us sometimes. That's the uppity. Yeah, he got to work somewhere. But you're a teacher, and that's the thing. People don't know what you do. But they assume, because in the summertime, listen, in the summertime, teachers don't have much income coming in. So it's like, that's like a blank moment for them where they don't have income. I don't know, do you guys have income at all coming in? Or is it that, you know, some of them have to save so that they can have some money? Because it's not, I'm going to tell you. Hey, Taz, how are you? Hold on, you guys. It's not easy. I told y'all I'm cooking too. I'm cooking. Yeah. Like the bus drivers. Exactly. That's exactly what the bus drivers have to go through it too. So in the summertime, people are trying to figure out how they can make ends meet. Oh, the income is for 10. Okay. So for 10 months, you have your income. That's crazy. And see, you feel like listen, I worked in HR. I was making like $80,000. I'm driving for Lyft. You got people that drive for Lyft that make $2,000 a week. And you work another job. But listen, I have my own company. Okay? But my company is not fast paced. So I'm, in between, I'm doing stuff. I've seen people seeing resumes all the time that will come past my desk of people that stay at home moms for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? You have another business too, so you know what it's like. A lot of times when you have your own business, if your business isn't booming, around the clock, then that means you have to figure out how you're going to make ends meet with other income. So you got to figure that out. And as you're figuring that out, you're doing this, that, and the other. And people may look down on you and you realize, damn, I worked as a waitress before, to make ends meet. I worked at the Redskins Stadium, and honestly, at the Redskins Stadium, I was probably making about, I'll say on and off, I could bring home $300 a night if I was working at the Redskins Stadium, give or take, right? As a suite attendant. So it's not to say that some of these other occupations that people may turn their nose up to or down to, that you're not making more money than them. You might be making more money than them. And they don't even know it. But the moment you tell somebody how much money you're making, guess what? Then they want to jump on. What? You make that much money? Girl, I need to sign up for that. I need to sign up for that. Well, sign up for that. Then the occupation is no longer beneath them. Okay? But it was just beneath them not too long ago. It was just beneath you when I told you what I was doing. But I can guarantee you, if McDonald's was paying $2,000 a week or even every other week, guess how many people would be lined up for that job flipping burgers and putting fries in the grease? Guess how many people would be lined up for that? But it's the simple fact of everybody values the money behind it. And it's not always about the daggone money. You know what I'm saying? It's about, a lot of us do have our pride about certain jobs that we want to take. Like I probably wouldn't want to work at McDonald's, but I would go work at a restaurant. I would go do that. I would work somewhere else, but I wouldn't want to work at McDonald's. It's not to say that I'm above McDonald's. It's just to say that I think that's, to me, can be more of a teenager's job. But any job can be I think teenagers will probably do better in places like that. And it's a place. And everybody eats, okay? So if you got to make ends meet, that's what you have to do. So the little man that we look at, we consider them the little man, and we talk about folk because of the decisions that they make. We never know what people are going through in their life. We never know why they're doing what they're doing. 16-year-old daughter works at McDonald's, $10 an hour. And you know what I'm saying? $10. That's enough. And they pay $1,000 a week. Suck up my... Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I just said, didn't I? I said if they was paying $1,000, you be your ass there, won't you? Everybody be lined up. Oh, they pay what? Oh, wait, yeah. Can I get an application? Can I get an application? Can I get an application? Where the manager at? The manager didn't even call me back. Oh, they only hiring certain people here. So, folk, look, $10 an hour for a grown up is not enough to take care of whatever bills they have. But sometimes you gotta freaking tuck your stomach in and be like, man, I gotta do this. I worked at the baseball stadium. I was working certain jobs because I was like, I wanted to see what they were like, because I know my business is into a little side of catering, and you know, I wanted to see how it all flows too. And at the same time, to see if I was getting some money. Shoot, when I was working at the baseball stadium, you had people that was leaving you tips, sometimes $60, $80, and on top of that, you was getting your hourly pay. You know what I'm saying? So when we had events, but even though the baseball stadium wasn't every day, it was part-time, you know, but just to think, if you had a job where people was having events all the time, and you was getting that type of pay, you never know. Waiters, I can tell you right now, servers at restaurants, some of them be pulling like $200 a day. Some of the servers, I talked to a young lady, she told me she made $200 a night almost at a Ruby Tuesday. She said, yeah, I can do pretty well. I can make $200 a night. And that's with your tips. So some of these jobs that we put down and we tell, you know, we act like we too good for it, you know, and the little man, you know, we putting everybody down that's working these jobs. You never know what these people making. Just because you sitting at an office desk don't mean that you making more money than somebody else. You got laborers out here that make more money. You got folk out here that's doing it up in their business every day. And you got painters that make pretty good money. You know, so it's not shit. You got escorts that's making money. And I ain't telling nobody to go do it, but I'm just saying, like, some of these women choose some of these occupations because they know the money is there. I was driving for $11 an hour construction company. Hey, it can't pay grown-up bills. And you look at that, you know, sometimes you dibble and dabble just to try to figure out how you can make it work. Sometimes you do that. You say, man, I gotta figure out how I can make it work. But I think a lot of times when some of us go through the rigmarole of life, we start to look at things a bit different. When you figure out that your office jobs are not always wanting you there, or you know, it's harder for you to find something, and then you start to really deal with life, you really see how, you know, it is to have to work those jobs. Exactly. You have to sacrifice. Sometimes that's what it all boils down to. Sacrificing. You know, putting your pride aside. You know, knowing that you have to make it work. You got to humble yourself. Exactly, Taz. We got to do that. But we look at people as the little man. You know, oh, that job you got, man, that ain't nothing. You ain't doing this. You don't know, but right now, that's all that person has. Unless you trying to help them get something bigger. You know what I'm saying? Are you too good for the little man? Are you too good for the little man is what I want to know. Hey, King. Oh, Lord, that name. Lord, have mercy. Are you too good for the little man? Because the little man could possibly give you some info that you may not even know. That little man might be well versed in business, okay? That little man might have studied some things that might give you some bright ideas. That little man may be some help to you. We never know. We never know. So we got to stop looking at people for where they are, okay? Stop looking at people for where they are. And tap into where they're going. And the government thinks everything is okay. It's not okay. Nothing's okay. But we gotta listen. We gotta learn how to help each other. Little man may have been through some real stuff. Exactly. And now the little man is able to help you out. The little man may have some connections, but the little man, that's just like you have guys, and I talked about this before. You have people that have owned their own business. I was looking at a guy on YouTube one day, and they were talking about being off the grid, right? Because a lot of people know how to get off the grid. They know how to have them little big water tanks and set the heating up in the house. So when you take a shower and everything, you good. You know how to go get some water, you know, and you living off the grid. If you go look at some of them little houses now, and I did a scope on little houses before. It's down in the profile, down there somewhere. But little houses, people are getting little homes and putting it on somebody else's land because they don't want to have to pay so much money to have a house, to have a place to stay. Just being smart about the system, right? And I'm not just talking about melanin folk, not just people of color. These are the Caucasian people. These are Caucasian people getting little homes, you know, living on somebody else's property, you know, trying to figure out how, you know, they can save money and make ends meet. Some of them are building them themselves. Little houses are going to be a thing. You watch what I tell you. They got a whole community full of little houses now. Full of small homes. I'm talking about teeny homes where you have to put stuff in areas by switching. No, no, they don't have any bills. So you just basically, you living on somebody's property where you don't have to pay nothing. Some people may have a small, they might be paying like $500 a month. You know what I'm saying? You got some people living in trailers. You know, you got $500 a month you might be spending on your mortgage, if that, because you got one made for you. But this is what people are starting to live smart. You know what I'm saying? And folks having roommates in their home because they know it's you know, all of this stuff that's going on now, it's not really easy. It's not, so people trying to figure out how to make ends meet. I'm going to say I'm one of them. I'm getting roommates. I'm gonna have possibly 2 roommates in my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely looking for that because it's not, you can save yourself some money.
Let's be honest.
Why not use it as a business? If you got rooms available, why not treat it as a business and create opportunity for yourself? You may not have to work if you have people have rooms available and you have folks in your rooms and they paying you. That's real estate. That's like an investment. It's not easy. Hey, Miss Chantel, how are you? So that's not easy. But I'm just saying, like, people will get on you even for that. You got somebody living with you. Oh my gosh, like I couldn't do that. I couldn't have, well, you couldn't do it. You couldn't have nobody living with you. Don't mean that I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, I probably was scared to do that. But sometimes you got to think, that's what we talk about, that pride. Sometimes you got to say, you know what? I really need to do this right now. I really got to do it. It's no way that I'm going to keep surviving and, you know, I don't have the help that I need. Because it's not to say that your family is always willing to help you, and they have their own stuff. So you can't depend on them. So you have to figure out how to work the system yourself. But we got little man situations all over the place, right? It's just that let's not treat people like they're the little man. Let's treat people with respect, regardless of the occupation. But like I said, there are some people that you have to get away from. You have to move yourself in other directions. You have to figure out how it's going to work for you. And that's all I mean. That's all I gotta say. You know, make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube page. YouTube page is in the profile. I am Keita J. I'm an entertainer, a custom designer, a voiceover artist, and I am me. And I want you all to be you. I know lately we haven't had anybody call in today, but eventually they will be calling in. So make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube page in the profile. My Instagram is Exist the Letter in Nature. If you guys want to come over to my Instagram, I would appreciate it if you come over. I have some funny videos. I'm doing consulting work with companies. If you have a company and you want some consulting work done, you gonna call in next time? Okay, Kenny, I hear you. I see you. I see what you writing, Kenny. But I'm doing consulting work with businesses. If you want to spruce up your business and I owe it. Okay. You don't owe it to me, but I would love for people to call in so that we can hear other sides to everything, in your life that's going on. Hey, Chris Nella, how are you? So, I'm doing consulting work with some businesses. If you know of any business or any businesses that tend to come across this page, just know that Keita J is doing consulting work. We are building not your following, but helping you to sell your products online, because online is a big thing, and I'll use all platforms to do it. And it's not going to be that expensive for you. So if any company is in need of, and I'll even say if you need some HR consulting work done, hit up your girl. Been in HR for 15 years. I know a lot of stuff about HR. So as well as entertainment, any custom designing that you may want done, maybe t-shirts, maybe little jean jackets or whatever. Hey, I'm hip to that. You might want some little pants designed for you. I'm into all of that. Art, check out my website, check out my Instagram page, because I have a lot of my art on my Instagram page. My website has some of my art. And I really appreciate you guys coming over, tuning in to Exist in Nature's Keita, sponsored by Exist in Nature, Keita J Reveal Show, every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So tell a friend to tell a friend and tell a friend, and keep it going exactly like that, okay? I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you don't put the little man down, okay? But there are some people that you got to let go. If you are moving in another direction, guess what? Move. You move in that direction. Leave them there. Let them figure it out. You ain't got to have them all up in your stuff. But let's not treat people that's not on our level because of the money that we're making. Let's not mistreat them. Let's treat them with respect and show them, because like I said, you never know what advice or information they may have for you to grow whatever it is that you're trying to grow. Maybe it be a business, maybe a partnership, whatever. But business is important to me at this time and age, because I am moving up. I don't want to move down. I want to move up in business, okay? So thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's the Keita J. All right, Kenny. That sound good, don't I? Don't that sound good, Kenny? I sound real good. All right, I'll talk to y'all later.